Hey Misfits, it's Elise. Welcome back to our channel. So this week is a free week. I'm doing back to school makeup. So all the products in this video are drugstore or somewhat not that expensive. The only expensive product that I have in here, I'm reapplying my skincare because I did my makeup in another take and I took everything off because it came out terrible. So don't mind me. If you want your skin to glow, use this over your moisturizer and your whole skincare routine. It will change your damn life, okay? I gotta buy another one. It's starting to get low. So, I tried to do, like, back to school makeup, like, now versus, like, when I used to go to high school. Because, like, I graduated high school in 2013, so I'm 24. I'm going to be 25 in March, which is fucking terrifying. Oh my god. So, I tried to follow, like, hold on. Oh, there we go. Like a tutorial that someone did. Like, I think I followed, a video from, like, my family or someone, you know, like a Visco, like, kind of cool teenager. It looked terrible, so I'm just gonna do how I did my makeup, like, back to school, like, simple for me. Now, I was emo / scene. I was a SEMO, because I would kind of go back and forth. I was, like, probably on the outside more emo, but I would wear the colorful scene clothes, so I was, like, somewhere in the middle. I didn't get to have, like, the crazy scene hair that I wanted to, but, like, I did the makeup, like, fucking sceney weenie. So, like, this is back to school for the alternative kids, alright? Like, because I feel like there's not enough of that on YouTube, so can this video go viral, please? We need subscribers. I'm Elise. I'm one of the many members of this channel, so, alright, now that my skincare has been reapplied, we can try this again now. Normally, it's like for school, I'd get up like 6 a.m. and I would take a bath, and then I would basically like do my skincare, which back then was like moisturizer. Maybe a clean and clear blackhead scrub. That was if I was paying attention to my skin. I would go downstairs and like eat cereal and watch like one cartoon, and then I'd go up and get ready, and then I would leave. Except for, like, towards the end, senior year and part of junior year, because when I was more high maintenance with the hair straightener, you know, I would, like, go downstairs, get a cup of coffee, and go upstairs, and that kind of started my whole routine. But back then, I would go downstairs. If we're talking about Elise from 2009 to 2011, oh god, yeah, different Elise, but, you know, makeup. So, this is back to school, like, simple glam for us alternative kids. I don't even know if that's, like, a term anymore. Do people even use that word anymore, like, alternative? I know scene is outdated. I know emo is kind of outdated, too. So I don't know what term to call it. Give me a comment down below. So, alright, I got all my products out. Let's get started. Okay. I'm still groggy, but my eyes I can see. So let's move on. Now, contacts are optional. Like, when I went to school, I didn't wear contacts except for, like, when I was at the end of college, like when I was experimenting with my appearance. So, yeah, that's optional. Oh my god, I'm dying. So, most of these products are going to be drugstore because I did not, like, indulge in expensive makeup until, like, years ago. Like, if I'm taking it back to high school, almost everything was from the drugstore except for, like, my foundation, and, like, that was pretty bougie because that was Mary Kay. God, I sound old, because that's like an old lady brand makeup. So, everything in here is going to be, like, affordable, or, if not, drugstore. So, okay, I don't need that. Oh, good, I need solution. Okay, let me get it situated. So, this makeup style somewhat goes back to, like, 2012, 2011, 2010. It's outdated, so if you don't like it, that's okay. Now, this is obviously more modern products. So obviously I did my skincare. Back then I did not use a primer, but today I'm going to use one because I want to set myself up for success, not failure. I'm going to be using the putty primer from e.l.f. It's really good. It's just problem was like for 6 months to a year, I literally could not buy this anywhere. And it was being resold like on the internet for like quadruple the money it was supposed to be. So yeah, back then I would just use my Clean and Clear thin, lightweight moisturizer before I would put my makeup on. But that was on a good day. Like, if it was like most days, I would have dry ass skin and I would just put the makeup on and wonder why it wouldn't stay on. Sometimes, you know, like back then, if I knew what I knew now, I would be killing it. I would be one of those bitches. Now my skin is red and irritated because I took a wipe and aggressively scrubbed my face, and I'm gonna have to do it again later tonight. So my skin is going to hate me. I don't know, I might put some aloe gel on later because like my skin is dry. So you know, we're setting myself up for success here. So now that we got our primer on, we're gonna do our foundation. We're gonna crack your back. Oh, much better. So I, back in high school, used to actually use a pretty bougie foundation. I used to use the Mary Kay foundation because my best friend's mom sold Mary Kay. Have I done a video with Ileana on this channel? Yeah, I think I did. So back then, that was bougie because it was like $20. But I remember I stopped using it because it was expensive and you had to know someone who was selling Mary Kay to buy it, and then like now everything's on Amazon, but like it was different. So when I didn't use Mary Kay, I used drugstore, and it was honestly shitty. I would either use CoverGirl Clean, a shitty Rimmel foundation that would oxidize. They don't make it anymore. It was in a glass tube with a white cap, and it said Rimmel like in frosted clear letters. Like Target don't make it anymore, thank fucking God. So I, in the spirit, am going to be using the Flower Beauty foundation that I got on the clearance rack at Walmart because they discontinued the contract with Flower Beauty. So I think it's like online, or you buy it off Flower's website now. Like you can't get it at Walmart anymore. So I mean, it was expensive and people would like damage it out. Like $12 at Walmart is pretty steep, so I completely understand. It's slightly too dark for me, which honestly is appropriate for high school because I didn't know how to blend or like find my shade. Unless I went to the Mary Kay lady because she told me what to buy. Oh my God, like I got foundation up my nose in the last take and like I swear I'm not the same. So then, back then I would use a stippling brush, which I don't think is like a thing anymore. Like, am I old? I don't see people use like a stippling brush for makeup anymore. Like I remember I did that because Michelle Phan said it was a great way to get the foundation like in there. And it was, it's just sometimes it was really streaky. Because I was in a rush every single morning. Oh, okay. This primer and foundation combo is really good. My skin is beat up to hell. I'm surprised that it's sucking in as nicely as it is. So that's good. And like, I don't know, back then I didn't use primer. I'm gonna use one today. Maybe I won't. Should I keep it real like I did in high school? Because back in high school I was not using an Urban Decay primer. Like, at least e.l.f. is like $8. That's affordable. That's like in a high school budget. My eyeliner was $7.99 and I would only get it like twice a year, which I think you're supposed to get a new gel eyeliner and mascara like every 3 months and not 6. So I probably gave myself a ton of styes for like no reason. But like at least that's affordable. Like there's a lot of better drugstore products than like when I went to school and was trying to figure out how to paint my face. Oh, it's like mad dewy because I put the sunscreen on and it didn't settle into my skin. Elise back in 2010 did not wear sunscreen every day. I should have, but I didn't. I don't know, that wasn't like a thing back then. Like, I don't know. Like, that whole, like, Korean and Japanese skincare craze didn't happen yet, so it was, like, right before, so, like, people didn't care about SPF. If it had SPF, it would be like, oh, okay, cool. Or my mom wears that, like, she's 60, like, you know. I mean, I never went outside like that. I hate it outside. I don't like that kind of thing. Now, this is obviously darker than my chest, but the drugstore, even to this day, still I have a tough time finding a good match. This one's okay. It's a little yellow, but like, it's nice. Like, I can't complain. So the next shade up is like way too dark. At least this is okay. Like, I could have mixed it, but in high school, like, I didn't give a fuck anymore. It was like, alright, it's on. It's not too streaky. We're good to go. Oh yeah, this is how I would calm down my eyebrows. Like, I didn't know anything about brushing them or putting them with powder. I would just put foundation all over it. Alright, so we get it to blend. And now we just call it. This is pretty accurate to me in high school because my skin was super oily, so. I'm channeling Elise from 2010, who used to like eat ramen noodles all the time, eat pizza. I used to eat a ton of junk food. I used to drink 2 to 3 sodas a day, have coffee. Like, I was just eating and drinking all the wrong things. This is the Milani concealer. I think this is shade 0. 100, sorry, they do have 100. Now, I am not getting a lot of coverage on my nose, and I think the problem is I put the sunscreen on like too much on my nose. So I am going to put a little extra on my nose. That's what I used to do back in high school because I never understood why like it never covered my nose right, but that's because like, I didn't have a good primer. You live and you learn. Now this, so far everything I've used so far is like under $10. Except for the Milani. I think the Milani is like $12. It's like a little up there. Back, I remember concealer used to be like $5. Like, you could get a whole ass face for $50. Like now, not so much. So it's like, you know, this one like I like. It has good coverage for a drugstore concealer. I like it. The only thing is the scent is kind of not my favorite thing in the world. It kind of smells like paint. It reminds me of the Wet n Wild foundation that I used to bum around with back in college. It was light enough for me, but boy did it smell like acrylic paint. Like hell. It smelled just like the paint we used to use like to paint the sets in theater. So, like the smell, not that great. Honestly, same for the Flower Beauty. I feel like cheap foundations, they don't like smell good. They kind of have that fake smell to it. I remember like halfway through high school, I was like, oh, let me just get all my makeup at Dollar Tree so that I could buy everything and get what I want. And it's like, oh my god, that smelled like lead paint. Like lead paint, like old house lead paint. So don't use that shit. This isn't bad, I just don't prefer the smell. But the ingredients aren't bad because like I'm allergic to fragrances and heavy things, and this doesn't seem to like fuck me up that badly, so that's good. So then I would powder the fuck out of my face. I actually used to use this powder, which is the CoverGirl Clean. It used to have like a teal label. I bought it again just for nostalgia. I actually don't like this powder. It's just not that good, and I tried. I used it for like most of my high school career. I think Maybelline came out with this, and like when this came out, like the Fit Me powder, like I was like sold. Like I think I was working at Target when I first tried this powder, so like, you know, it took me a while. I was an adult by then. I would have loved this in high school because it makes you so matte and it just works. like, honestly, I love the Laura Mercier, but it is a little drying. This one's, like, a little less drying for me, which is weird, because, like, this one is very finely milled. So, like, this would be perfect if I was in high school now and still doing that thing that I liked when I was being a fucking emo-ass motherfucker. Oh, God. My parents don't understand me. Anyway. Can I get it all over my shirt? I did. So that's about right. No, I'd try to get it off. At least it's not liquid foundation where it's completely obvious. So let's move on. Now. Ow. I got powder all over my hands. Sounds about right. So back then I did not use bronzer or blush. I noticed like kids that still do like the alternative-y type of thing will use bronzer. I'm going to avoid that step. I'm going to avoid this step too. That's my blush. Oh, this hurts. We're going to avoid my highlighter. Oh, this hurts so bad. Alright, so that's a lot of steps already taken care of. I am going to curl my lashes though. I'm not going to do what I did in high school with that because they just don't sit well if I don't curl them. I think my eyelashes like changed because like they never used to be that thick. I don't know what happened. So I already use like these kinds of brushes for my powder. It's like a dense ass brush. Alright. Good. Now for eyes. I would buy these little quads, like something like I used to buy e.l.f. like when stuff was $1 or $2. Now it's a little more steep because e.l.f. is like $5 to $10 now. Actually, some stuff is $12. It ain't even cheap anymore. So I bought this L'Oreal Paris Coloriche Pocket Palette, and like they still make this. I had a few of these in high school. I had a pink one, a blue one. I had this one. They've been making this a long time, so. I had an e.l.f. one that looked just like this, like in the color scheme, so this is perfect. So I have a silver, I have a sparkly gray, I have a matte gray, and then I have like a matte charcoal color, so good. Right, so that's perfect. I have this, but I never use liquid like that on my eyes. Alright, let me get my brushes out. So we have a lot. I'm gonna do the look that I did the other day because that's literally like what I used to do. So I'm gonna take this and I need my packing brush. I mean, I used literally the same brush for everything back in high school. Like I would use something like this from e.l.f. and it was black. And I would use that for the entire thing and I would just have to wipe it off all the time. So I'm literally gonna just take these two colors on the top and make like a little ombre. Cause that was a look I did a lot. Or what I would do, I'd be too scared to wear all black, so I would wear a bunch of gray and layer on the black very slowly. And that's how I would do it. Now, for the sake of high school, I'm not using a primer. So I am going to have to pack this on quite heavily. So, because with a primer, this goes on really nicely. Like that Urban Decay primer has changed my life. Like, thank you, Thomas Halbert, for suggesting that primer by, you know, using it in your Get Ready With Me's, because, like, it makes a difference. Alright, so I do most of the eye with the sparkly color. Like so. Clean the brush off, and then go take the dark color. And go like this. Now, back then, I did not understand that, like, my eyes are already droopy and I should be dragging them up. But this is how I did it. Like, I prided myself in looking like a raccoon. If I know what I knew now about, like, makeup and, like, eye shapes and hairstyles, I would have been a bitch not to fuck with back in high school. Oh, you're just trying to figure out my life. Who am I? I was still a people pleaser, like, get good grades. Now it's like, if I don't want to go somewhere or do something with friends or my family, I legit tell them no, and like, it still sucks, but at least like, I have some of a backbone now. I used to like not talk in school, like my teachers thought there was something wrong with me. Alright, so now we're gonna clean this off. This fall out off my cheek, because I would get black makeup on my face and like I would get most of it off, but you'd have like speckles. Hated that shit. Hated it. Alright, so this is about what I would do. But what I would do is back then, I don't know, I watched Michelle Phan a lot, and what she said is if your eyes are small, there's no point in like putting stuff in your crease. Now, she has monolids. I used to follow like a monolid tutorial. It's like, I don't know, a lot of these people on YouTube that I followed back then had big old beautiful eyes that were huge, and I couldn't relate, so I would watch Michelle, because at least like she knew how to work with smaller eyes. So, to go up. I don't want to get like a gray shadow on the side like I used to do. Oh, I would leave it too. Like if I got my eye makeup like where it wasn't supposed to be, I was just like, whatever. Call it a day. Oh, it was so bad. Why did people say I was good at makeup in high school? I think it was just like an awkward thing because people would stare at me. They didn't know what to say. Like, except my equally as weird friends that were into, like, you know, bands and all that other shit. Like, there was not many of us. Like, even if we weren't, like, friends with you, but you were, like, in that group of scene or emo kids, like, we would respect you. Unless you were an absolute bitch, then, like, no. But, like, mostly, like, the weirdos gotta stick up for the weirdos, you know? I was a band kid, and, like, I was not like them at all. I met, like, a few people I still talk to because of the music department, and, like, those are my best friends, but, like, that's it. Like, everyone was pretentious and hated each other. Like, I hated them. Never felt welcome. And I was in those classes all 4 years because that was my hobby. I wasn't good at sports. What is that? Oh, there's like a spam number calling me about like lowering my student loan. I already have a really low rate. I don't want to refinance because then it's going to be higher. Y'all are out of your mind. So this would be like the eye look, and then honestly I would just do eyeliner and call it a day. Like, I remember I was the weird like emo scene alternative kid. Like, I'd wear a lot of black makeup, and like I remember we did a play senior year. It was called Brigadoon, and it was like a Scottish play. I was in the pit. I wasn't like talented enough to sing or dance on stage, so I would wear like a black eyeliner every day on my bottom lash area, and like, you know, like, and I'll demonstrate what it looks like in a minute. But I remember like my theater director, because like their characters, like, to make their eyes stand out a little more, like they would all wear black eyeliner. And my choir director, half the girls are like, how the fuck do you get this shit off? Like, I don't want to be going to the mall and getting expensive ass makeup remover, because I guess it was like really good quality. It was probably MAC or something, like, because it was the stage moms doing all the makeup. And I remember he told them to ask me what I use to remove it under my eyes, because I clearly take it off sometimes. Because I remember one time I came to school without makeup on, and I remember, like, maybe that's why he thought I'd take it off. But honestly, like, I would just leave the black underneath. If I didn't get it all off, like, I didn't get it all off. Oh my god, this is itchy. Now, this is an e.l.f. one that I got for a couple bucks, and I hate it, but, like, I want to use it up. But I remember the girls were like, hey, Ellie, because, like, I didn't go by Elise. Like, it was, like, an identity crisis. They're like, yeah. I'm like, so they're like, how do you get your black makeup off? Like, I just gotta know. Because, like, for the play, how the fuck am I gonna get this eyeliner underneath my eyes off? And I'm like, well, honestly, it's like a personality trait for me at this point. I always have something black under my eyes, but I mean, I don't know, I just scrubbed the fuck out of it. And they're like, what? I'm like, so I would take, like, wipes and scrub as much as possible, and then I would take a makeup remover. I remember it was with my second boyfriend, and his mom used to work for Clinique. And, she gave me a very specific one that was for eyeliner, and, like, it was, like, a liquid. Then, of course, they're like, oh, that's expensive. Like, you gotta go to Macy's for that. And, like, then, I don't know, scrub the fuck out of it with a wipe. You might have to use more than one. So, yeah, he made them all ask me how I take my makeup off. I guess it's because I wore such heavy makeup every day. I guess he just assumed I was, like, an expert. I don't think it was anything, like, harmful, but it was so awkward. Oh, Mr. Linen. He meant well. Okay, this brush is annoying me. I have two of the same brush, and I think this is the one I hate. So I'm gonna switch, because that one has a loose, like, strand, and it pokes my eye, and I always forget. I used that one for powder. I think I just switched it. Fucking cheapo. I'm still cheap. Yeah, I don't think it was a harmful statement, but it was just awkward because, like, all the pretty girls who could sing and, like, were popular in a sense because, like, the play was very popular because, like, the football team sucked at my school. You know, everyone went to see the play. That was, like, going to a cool event. I don't know, but, like, the freaking leads of the play were asking me how to take off eyeliner. I'm like, oh my god, people are actually talking to me? What do we do? So, like, that's, like, a funny story, because, like, I was antisocial. Honestly, like, I only did choir for 1 year. I did band for all 4. Like, I felt more welcome in choir than I did in fucking band, because it was just competitive, and everyone was mean. I'm a higher cheer than you, or my mom's in the PTA, and your mom's not. Like, it was some bullshit. Honestly, like, I still have, like, PTSD flashback moments because of band. Like, all because of, like, fucking bitchery. Like, I remember back when we did the play senior year, the drama kids, aka not the pit, they didn't tell us we were included in that ceremony with the seniors, so no one gave speeches or had speeches ready for any of the seniors. And because I was sitting at the end, they went first, and, like, no one really liked me enough to, like, I'm trying to get this out of my eye, like, to give me a speech. So I remember this junior, like, made one up on the spot because he was good at, like, he was on the debate team, so of course he could come up with shit. Like, people talk about theater and, like, cheerleaders being mean, Have you seen band kids? Like, holy shit. Like, I went to, like, I didn't go to no hoity-toity high school. Oh, they treated band like it was the fucking Olympics. Like, oh my god, like, it was too much power with students. Like, you cannot give students that much power. Like, in that kind of setting. It's not a good idea because kids are assholes. Like, there was all this discreet bullying, and anytime I would go to the guidance counselor, they'd lie and be like, oh, like, well, I don't mean it like that, you know. I think she just feels bad because, like, I have a better chair than her, and then it was like, we'd go, and obviously nothing would come of it, and then they'd be like, fuck you, bitch, and, like, go down the stairs, like, away, like, and not talk to you, like, again, nicely, like, ever. The only time I remember the girl that used to bully me was nice, because I remember I got, like, my music scholarship. I was the only one majoring besides this other girl who went off to the military, like, for music. So I remember, like, I said I was going to sell my old clarinet, and then she was all nice to me all of a sudden because she wanted to buy it off me, and then I ended up just saying I need it as a spare, fuck you. Oh, she was pissed. So, like, you know, I guess I had reason to be withdrawn in high school. Other than that, I was scared of people. No, I need a little shape. Like, on my days that I was feeling extra, I would do this, so. Alright, blend. My other brush to put more black. This is not the darkest black I've worked with, but, like, that primer, like, made a difference. Like, it honestly keeps this color on. So, like, you could tell that this eyeshadow's really not that great quality-wise, but, like, it works. Alright, this was the shit I couldn't stand, so I would try to, like, get it off of my face. It wouldn't be perfectly even, but yeah, high school was rough for me, and it wasn't even supposed to be, because, like, I don't know, like, I didn't get bullied by popular kids, I got bullied by fucking nerds. Like, oh my god, like, this just turned into, like, a get ready with me TED Talk. Like, that's why I wanted to be a teacher, because I remember, like, I felt like my director did nothing in regards to, like, teaching people to be nice, which I feel is important, and, like, I don't know, a lot of musicians are either real nice or they're assholes, like, there's no in the middle. Like, I remember I told the guidance counselor I wanted to be a band teacher because, like, my band teacher wasn't very, like, concerned about, like, how people talk to each other and how people were treating each other, and I remember she thought that was admirable. She still wouldn't change my band class, though, like, the year I got stuck with the bitch who was bullying me. Because, like, I don't know, like, it was, like, ridiculous how these people would act. What else? Oh, because, like, you'd have to meet up with the people you hate, obviously, like, for the concert, sectionals, which is, like, optional practice after school, and, like, they would bitch at you if you didn't go, but all you got was extra credit, so it's, like, leave me alone, right? So I used to go senior year because, like, I was a clarinet 1, so I had to, because technically all the upperclassmen have to go. It, like, makes the freshmen want to go. And I remember, like, I was the last chair in the first row, so, like, I don't know, like, I was studying more seriously than a lot of them. I had bad test anxiety. This is my Benefit mascara, by the way. In high school, I would have used Maybelline or L'Oreal. So, substitute as you wish. This was like $12, I think, because the main one is like $25. So this is expensive, but I love it. Where was I going with this? Oh, so sectionals. We had one for the concert, for Christmas. Every other year we played Sleigh Ride for the Christmas concert, right? So the clarinet part was absolutely ridiculous. I remember like the second chair and the first chair were first clarinets like sophomore year, so of course they got the same part. They were better at it than all of us, and that's fine. Wasn't even mad about those things, but like, you know, we were all supposed to go because we're upperclassmen, and remember he's like, if you're a 1, you have to go, because like, you gotta teach the freshmen that like, you know, it's like your duty or whatever, right? So I went, even though like, the second chair was running the whole thing. The first chair just would do whatever she said. Like, he was a better player, but like, he was just like a body that could play like really well. He didn't talk much. He was a very nice guy. Loved him. He was cool. I don't know, he and I would talk like in jazz band, because he played tenor sax and I played alto too, so I would sit next to him in jazz band. Like, he was such a nice guy. But anyway, I remember like that part we were learning was really high. Even the 2 part, like the 2 part was all over the place. The 1 part was weird, and then the 2 part was like all over the place with harmonies and shit. The third clarinet part was like kind of low key, and then the first part was really high, but it was like all up high. So, first of all, I remember the second clarinet was trying to tell me that that's the harder part, and your 1 part's just the melody, and like I get it, but at the same time, like, it's not, because you can't play it in the altissimo register, or you would have been on clarinet 1, boo boo. But I remember there was like the high notes, like the high F sharp, and what else was there? There was E high, F sharp, G sharp. Like, you know this, the part giddy up, like, let's giddy up, let's go. But like, it was like la 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 la, like it was like a weird triplet, and it was like a weird fingering. And because I took private lessons, I like knew a better way to do it. And I guess I wasn't supposed to talk the whole time, apparently, because I wasn't a good player. I would have had a better chair, and me. And I'm like, actually, like, you could just do this. And I remember, like, the second chair who was, like, cult of personality, would, like, literally flip out. You know, she was band president, her mom ran the PTA, you know, all that shit. So, like, Elise, you don't even need to fucking say anything, because, like, you're barely a clarinet 1, because, you know, you got here because you were a senior. Like, Doc just felt bad for you. We used to call him Doc because he was a doctorate. And he had a doctorate in percussion. So, I'm like, I'm sorry, bitch. I take private lessons. You play on a size 2 reed senior year in high school, and your clarinet's made of plastic. Mine is made of wood. Like, you know, like, it's all politics with band. But I remember, like, I almost lost my shit. I'm like, well, do you know how to play it? Because, like, she's struggling, and there's an easier way in the book. So, like, the fuck? Like, I remember she yelled at me because I spoke, apparently, and I wasn't supposed to speak at all, and it was supposed to all be run by her in the first chair, and the first chair wasn't even doing anything. So, you know, it was supposed to be her thing, and I don't know. And I remember I never went to a sectional after that, and my director, like, took that as a stab, and I'm like, well, you know who. It's really rude. She got mad I tried to correct, like, a sophomore on a fingering. Like, I take private lessons, so, like, it would have been, like, a nice thing to do, right? Like, to say, hey, you should do this way instead, because the other way you're doing it is technically wrong. Like, I mean, I guess you could, but there's wrong ways to play the clarinet. Like, obviously, you gotta go left, right. You can't go, like, over your fingers, and, like, that's what the girl was doing. She, like, you know, just barely got by in middle school. She was what's the word? Like, a more intermediate player. She was not confident, and, like, she was, like, very quiet, and, like, I was trying to help her, and, like, so-and-so yelled at me. He's like, oh, well, you should still go to sectionals, like, prove her wrong type of thing. I'm like, no, you need to control your friend over here. Now, I would wear lipstick sometimes, I would have to take it off for band class, though, which sucked, because when you play your reed instrument, like, it's like this. So the bottom part, it would come off, and then it would be on here, like, underneath, like, so. This is, like, on a day I felt extra, even though I had band every day. Like, I liked wearing lipstick, but the problem was, like, my instrument is a wet piece of wood. So. I remember, like, sophomore year and freshman year, I had the elastics for my braces, and I remember for band class, I'd have to take them out. It was such a pain in the ass. So, like, you know, I used to wear red, I used to wear, like, a bright-ass pink. Like, this is when my teeth weren't yellow. And I would put my lipstick on at school, because my mom didn't want me looking crazy. So I would wear my crazy, like, regular makeup, but no lipstick, and I'd put the lipstick on at school. Because I used to get there stupid early. Because basically, like, first year or two, my middle sister took me to school, and then the last year or two, when I stopped talking to that girl we used to carpool with, because, like, I don't know, things just, you stop talking to people sometimes. Where's I going with this? Oh, my other sister drove me to school. So, like, they all had to be at work early in the morning, so it was, like, plus my middle sister moved after I was a junior, so senior year, my other sister took me to school. And, like, that's fine, but, like, I'd get there stupid early and I'd be bored anyway. And, like, I would go down to breakfast but not actually eat anything, so you had to pay for it. If it was free, I would eat another breakfast, but, you know. I'm gonna take this red-ass lipstick and be like me back in the day. I remember I took theater arts senior year, and I remember, like, for a role, my teacher had to tell me not to wear lipstick for that day, for my role. I was so heartbroken. Oh, this is a L'Oreal lipstick in the shade 402. Devil's Matte. Matte Red. That's clever, I just didn't understand. Okay. I suck at putting on lipstick. I was better at it in high school because I had more practice. But yeah, like, I remember, like, a lot of good things from high school, but also not. So, high school's interesting. Like, I met some of my best friends. I met Derek there. I met Ileana there. I met this girl, Shay, that we used to be friends, but, like, we were friends for a long time. Like, you know, you meet people that are very key in your life, like, but at the end of it, like, there's still a lot of shitty people in high school, and you can't take that offensively, so. I remember, like, I would try to round my lip. I didn't like the appearance of my Cupid's bow. Now that's, like, totally the opposite nowadays. And then I remember I would just, like, try to clean it up with a Q-tip and, like, what was left over of my foundation. But this was basically the look. I remember, like, Michelle Phan would say put lipstick underneath. Or not lipstick. Concealer. Put concealer underneath. I used to think my bottom lip was small. Like, everyone like was like, what the fuck? Your bottom lip is huge. My top lip is small. Let me take another one. Yeah, this is how I would fix it. I guess my motto is don't let people fuck with you. If I was me now, like, I tell people off now. I never used to, like, back in the day. It took me until, you know, like 2 years ago to tell someone to fuck off or say no. Like, even to my own parents, because, like, I quit school. I had different ideas of my future. Like, don't be a fucking doormat. Like, just don't. Like, if you feel like, oh, walking on eggshells for somebody type of shit, like, don't do it. Like, don't compromise your happiness because someone's annoying. Like, literally, like, my band bully, I used to call her clarinet bully, like, when I used to talk about this on my old channel. Like, I remember she threw a fit once because there was, like, a song we did senior year that had a clarinet solo. And, like, she would come when her gym teacher would say, like, that they didn't need to be there, or, like, this, that, and the other thing. Which, why were you taking gym senior year? No one took gym senior year. So, I remember, like, I learned the solo because the soloist was not in my class. I was the only clarinet one in that class. All the other ones were in the first period. So, I remember she would come to my class because it was lunch, and then you could, like, hang out. So you could go to a class instead of lunch if you really wanted to. It just was like, why would you? But, you know, she did because she was fucking weird and she had to be in everyone's business. And I remember I played the solo because I was used to playing it, and she, like, screamed at me in front of the entire class because that was blah 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 solo. And I remember my director's like, well, technically you should be learning this part too, because what if so and so, like, can't play the part? Like, you're the second chair, you would be the next person. Oh god, she got so upset. And I remember, like, she would say I was playing it wrong or blah, blah, blah. I remember I stopped in the middle of it, and I'm like, you fucking play it, bitch. And I remember she, like, cried after that because I was, like, apparently I was being a bitch because I called her out on her bullshit. Like, you know? And I remember, like, my director was like, maybe you should have worded that differently. I'm like, no. She needs to get over her shit. I remember, like, after that, it was halfway through the year, and my director and my dad spoke, and he's like, listen, Elise wants to be a teacher. She wants to do music for the rest of her fucking life, which now I don't. But, funny how that shit works. You know, you were never encouraging to her. You always favored, like, certain kids, you know, because their parents are in the PTA. I work 2 jobs. My wife works all day. And she just feels ignored. Like, you should be gassing her up because she's one of the few people that wants to major and continue the process like you did. There we go. And, like, I remember, like, he spoke to me after that, like, saying he had no idea I felt that way all 4 years of high school, and I'm like, listen, you should have fucking saw. Like, Jesus Christ, like, everyone saw it. Like, literally, if, like, certain people in band were talking to me, I would shut down, because I just knew that if I talked out of turn, or, like, they didn't like what I had to say, they'd be like, shut up, Ellie, like, no one fucking asked you, like, excuse me? I have the right to be here, too, because unfortunately, the truant officer would be at my door if I'm not fucking here, so go fuck yourself. Like, if I was me now, oh god, they would not be ready. So this is the final look. Not my best lipstick application. I'm very out of practice, but like, honestly, it's not bad. My first attempt at makeup was like more Visco girl looking and it looked like shit, so this is good. Let me know down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is gonna be a pain in the ass to edit, but it is what it is. So I'll see you guys next week. I think we're doing conspiracy theories, so look out for that. I have no idea what I'm doing.